Senator Dick Durbin, the ranking Democrat on the Senate Judiciary Committee, delivered a blistering rebuke of the Trump administration's mass deportation machine, a federal force now larger than the Marine Corps, larger than the FBI. And yet, Secretary Kristi Noem remains conspicuously absent over a year without facing congressional oversight. But perhaps the most powerful testimony came not from a senator, but from a survivor. A woman shot 5 times. Her story, a chilling indictment of an agency operating without accountability.
Thank all of the witnesses who appeared before us today, my friend Tony Romanucci, and I particularly want to call attention to Ms. Marimar Martinez. Your name on this side of the table is El Milagro. You are a miracle. The fact that you are here today after being shot 5 times to tell your story, God had a purpose for you. And your purpose was served today by telling us this story. I'm the ranking member of the Senate Judiciary Committee, and I want you to know for the record, Secretary Noem has not appeared before our committee in over a year. She's too busy to come and answer for the mismanagement of this agency and the damage that's being done, not only to the people of America, but to our reputation in the world when you consider the police tactics that are being used. Mr. Stoughton, I was going to go through some of the things that Ms. Martinez lived through and ask you to comment. I sense from your earlier answers what you will be saying. But this much I want to make clear. Chicago was one of the first victims of this policy of massive deportation. I came to the Senate Democratic Caucus luncheon and I told my colleagues after it got started and after I visited Little Village and the neighborhoods and saw what happened, be prepared because this show is coming to your town next. They may leave Minnesota, and I'm sure people in Minnesota can't wait for that to happen. They may leave some other place, but they're headed to a new place. You see, they appropriated billions of dollars for this effort, this mass deportation, billions of dollars, so that the force that they have created that we've heard described today is larger than the United States Marine Corps, larger than the FBI. They are prepared to take this show on the road and to visit it to polling places and schools, nurseries, Montessori schools all across America. We have to do something. It is up to us. The courts are doing some things. I wish they would do more. But we have to do our part. And that's why we've made it clear that this negotiation to change the standards for ICE is critical for us to continue funding this agency. Critical. 10 days, the Republicans are arguing, it's not long enough, we need longer. No, 10 days is plenty of time to do what needs to be done. The basics, Mr. Stoughton, the basics of policing. All we're asking is that this effort by ICE and other federal agencies adhere to the same standards and principles as policemen and policewomen across the United States already. That's not too much to ask. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Dick Durbin, a man who has served Illinois for over 4 decades, who has seen administrations come and go, stood before his colleagues and laid bare a troubling reality. The United States government has built a deportation apparatus that now dwarfs its own Marine Corps. Let that sink in. A domestic enforcement agency larger than the force we send to defend our interests abroad. And where is the woman in charge? Secretary Kristi Noem, the face of this operation, has not appeared before the Senate Judiciary Committee in over a year. Over a year. In any functioning democracy, that alone would be a scandal. What does make the news? A woman named Marimar Martinez, shot 5 times. And yet, she found the courage to sit before the United States Senate and tell her story. Senator Durbin called her a miracle. A living, breathing reminder of what happens when policy becomes cruelty, when enforcement becomes theater, and when accountability becomes optional. Durbin warned his Democratic colleagues months ago after visiting Chicago's Little Village neighborhood, "This show is coming to your town next," and he was right. From Chicago to cities across America, we are witnessing a coordinated campaign funded by billions of taxpayer dollars that treats communities not as neighborhoods to protect, but as stages for political performance. Polling places, schools, nurseries, even monastery schools. These are not the locations of criminal enterprises. These are the fabric of American civic life, and yet they have become targets. The senator's demand is remarkably modest, that ICE operate under the same basic standards as every police officer in every city and town across this nation. Not special restrictions, not additional burdens. Simply, the basics of policing, the same rules your local sheriff follows. The Republicans say 10 days isn't enough time to implement such standards. One has to wonder if 10 days isn't enough to establish basic accountability. How many days did it take to build a force larger than the FBI? How many days to appropriate those billions? The machinery of enforcement, it seems, moves with remarkable speed. The machinery of oversight? Apparently that requires patience. This is where we are. A government that can mobilize a paramilitary force with extraordinary efficiency, but cannot or will not subject that force to the same rules that govern a traffic stop in Peoria. Secretary Noem's empty chair speaks volumes, but so does the voice of Miramar Martinez, a woman who survived 5 bullets and still found the strength to testify.